Hey, beautiful people. I hope your day is good so far. It's Friday. The weekend starts here. Anyone who sees me acting like that would think I have big plans for the weekend, but nothing much planned. Just a quick video to comment on, or to try and explain something to one or two people. The video that I did yesterday, where I was wearing a jumpsuit, very thick jumpsuit, cream thick jumpsuit, and I was really feeling quite vulnerable and emotional. Yesterday I was in that let your guard down mode, and yeah, I let show some emotions that a lot of people have never seen before or rarely see from me. And one thing I talked about as well, and which some people noticed, was that I wasn't dressed up yesterday. Most people know me as this, always dressed up, always looking like I'm going somewhere, always looking kind of formal, even when I'm not going anywhere, even when I'm in the house. And I've been called all sorts because of that. I've been called a snob. I've been called a show off. I've been called a princess that likes to prance around. And back in Zimbabwe, there's something they call you if you act like you're high class, or if you are high class, they call you a salad. So I've been called that as well. Musalad is what they say. Oh, come salad. I've been called that because I'm always dressed up. I'm not like that actually anymore. These days, you will actually see me in all sorts of forms of dressing, and my hair looking whatever, or I'm just wearing a hat that I just grabbed from somewhere. I'm just comfortable now. I'm comfortable in my own skin. I'm comfortable whether I'm dressed up or whether I'm casually dressed. I've done some live videos on my group on Facebook while I was wearing pajamas, because now that I am myself, I have a lot of messages that I want to pass on out there. Now that I've recovered from the deep-rooted hurts and pains and whatever I mentioned yesterday, I do have a lot of messages that I want to share with people that I know will help people to come out of their shells and be themselves, because it's the best thing to be in life, to be yourself. It's not the whole world that's going to take you like that. It's not the whole world that's going to love it or like it. But hey, it's all about you. And trust me, there will always be somebody who will take you as you are. And that's all you need. You don't need a whole clan. You don't need a whole congregation. You don't need a whole community, a whole city. No, you are meant to please certain people, specific people. God knows those people. And as long as you're giving the best of yourself, the best of the people you're supposed to impact will gravitate to you naturally. And you don't need to worry about the rest of them, because there's somebody else actually attracting them. And all is good that way. Anyway, back to my being dressed up all the time. Can you imagine? I spent 30 up to 32 years of my life always looking like this, like somebody who's going to the office, even when I'm not. I mean, I'm a nurse by profession. I used to dress like this, go all the way to wherever I was working, hospital, nursing home, or whatever, and then change into my uniform. It's hygienic, yeah, but my reason for dressing like that, going to work, had nothing to do with hygiene. had nothing to do with legal protocols or company protocols or work ethics or any of those things. It was actually attached to something deep, something not very nice. And when somebody started talking about that, I used to be spot on all the time, and now they are seeing me in different kinds of dressings depending on how I'm feeling. I'm not like going to the garden dressed like this. I used to do that back in Zimbabwe, and my mom used to get really cross with me. I'd be dressed up like this, get to the garden, take these off, put them somewhere, and do what I need to do in the garden, acting like, oh, and then get back into this and then walk around. Our garden used to be like outside the yard. Anyway, so I thought today, let me do a video and reveal the secret behind my obsession with looking spot on, my obsession with always looking appropriate, with always looking like I'm ready to go into action anytime, any place, anyhow. This was actually one of my greatest shields. This being dressed up used to cover the ugliness that I felt inside that nobody knew about. And I think nobody knew about it because all they saw is this. A lot of people are very visual. They will see what the eyes can see, and they will not venture beyond what they can see. So they will make impressions and judgments of a person or of an item depending on presentation, depending on how it looks. So because I knew that's how people react to things, I decided, after I faced abuse, I decided I was going to be that spot on person that no one would ever think, no one would ever imagine that I'd suffered abuse. Since I'd been told I couldn't talk about it, since I'd been told I had to keep it a secret, since I'd been told nobody should ever know, lest my family got in trouble, lest I became an unwanted, a dirty, unwanted woman. So for it to seem genuine, like I was happy, nothing was wrong, my life was going up, not down, I had to paint that picture. So I always had to dress up. Like I said, my mom was a tailor. I always picked these complicated styles in dresses, blouses, jackets. Whatever I wanted to wear had to be up class, had to look I don't know, above average. I always had to look prim, proper, and ready to go. And I believed, deep down, I believed that if I was able to look that way, nobody would ever know that I had this hidden self-loathing, self-hate, self-disgust, self-blame that I carried around with me. And I also learned to smile. I remember my first job when I was able to work in England. The first man that interviewed me for a job said to me, I'm gonna give you the job. Before we even started the interview, I was like, what? And he said, your smile lights up the room, and this is what we need in this place. And I was like, okay, so are you not gonna do the interview? And he laughed. He said, we will have to do the interview, but I'm quite sure your smile is going to be justified by what we're going to find out in the interview. Whether that was true or not, only I know. I had become so good at acting that I used to know what to say, to paint the picture I wanted to paint, and it was all about painting that picture that nothing affected me, nothing ever hurt me, nothing ever harmed me. But what people didn't know is I was already damaged, I was already harmed. I used to believe, deep down, I used to believe nothing could ever harm me as much as I'd been harmed by the abuse that I suffered. So it was all about painting pictures for other people, because I also believed that people could not deal with what I had faced, could not deal with what I had gone through. And I didn't want them to. I didn't wish anybody to ever feel or to ever experience what I experienced. And yet I was harnessed with this instruction not to share what had happened to me, not to report it, not to do anything about it. I was actually told, just pretend that it didn't happen, and with time you will forget. But trust me, people, with each passing hour, forgetting became harder and harder. With each passing minute, coping with it became harder and harder. But I'm sure we all know that when you love somebody, you will do anything to protect them. And I was told my mother was at risk if I ever spoke about what had happened to me. So every time I felt like it's gonna bubble over, it's gonna come out, I'm gonna say something, I would remove myself from people. And this is why I resorted to writing. Writing became my friend, or reading. Initially I started reading so I could learn how people wrote their stories. So I would read, I would write, I would draw, and I would do crafts. You see, like this, I decided I was gonna wear this today, and I thought, I don't think I want to wear any of the earrings that I've made. I'm gonna make a new set, and with 5 minutes that I'd made that, and I looked the part, confident, going out there, go-getter. Nothing phases me, nothing worries me. That's the picture that this paints. But I'm telling you today, and I know for certain, since I started opening up, since I dropped my guard, since I picked up the real me and dropped the actor, I've talked to so many people, and I've realized I'm not alone. There are so many people out there who are painting pictures. There are so many people out there who act a certain way, who walk a certain way, who talk a certain way, dress a certain way, even live in certain parts of communities just to paint a picture, just to convince everybody that everything is hanky-dory, when inside there are a million pieces. Inside they are drowning in unshed tears. Inside their hearts are like this big, full of anguish. So yeah, I can dress up, but never assume that we're dressing up because we can, or we're dressing up because we can afford it, or we're dressing up because we are up there. At some point I even went into dirt. I even went into I had debt collectors coming after me because I was buying things that I couldn't afford. I was buying clothes that I couldn't afford just to cover that filth. When I ended up in the car accident, I learned the hard way that what you carry inside can never be covered from yourself. You can cover it from people, but that doesn't matter because they don't have to carry you. They can only look at you. Sorry, I'm not sure what happened there. The video got broken, but I'm gonna sync it. I've learned a few things while I've been recovering, and one of it is editing videos. I'm not perfect at it, but I like the fact that I can actually do it. Anyway, I was saying that just because somebody looks perfect, never assume that they are perfect, and never assume that they feel perfect. At the end of the day, nobody's perfect. And like I said in the other video, what matters is not how you look. What matters is what you do and what purpose it serves. What you do and what it does for you and what it does for those around you, what it does for your community, what it does for your country, what it does for your economy, what it does for your well-being and your community well-being. That is what matters, not how I look. If I look like this and I'm nasty to everybody, this can look as nice as it wants to. It doesn't mean anything to anyone. If I look like this and I'm useless, I don't get around to do anything, I just run around looking all pretty and whatever, that's of no use to anybody. It might attract, as a woman, it might attract a guy, but trust me, at some point he's gonna pick the real you, and he's gonna weigh things and think, is this pretty look really what I want? Is it fulfilling me? Is it benefiting me in any way? And if it's not, this is when you find either somebody's gonna start playing out there, cheating, or they'll just walk away. The honest ones will just end it and walk away. So I think it's what's more important is what's in here. I was single for years and years and years and years and years, could never keep a relationship because I was filthy inside, even though I didn't look it. When anybody I started a friendship or relationship with, when they stayed long enough, they started to pick the dirty inside, the dirty hidden behind the nice clothes, and then it would just all fizzle out, or even it would end up in some altercations, and it's not worth it. I'm not saying don't dress up, don't get me wrong there. I'm not saying don't dress up. It's good to look pretty, it's good to look beautiful, it's good to look flamboyant, it's good to look good. But it's better to look and be good. It's actually what everybody endeavors to be or to feel or to see in other people. Somebody that looks good and is good. I just dressed up like this for this video so that you can see the other side of me, other than the one that you saw yesterday that was wearing this cream jumpsuit that looked like a big baby wrapped up in a jumpsuit. Anyway, I hope you're starting to understand me a little bit better. And if not that, I hope you picked one or two things out of what I've said that might explain why you are who you are, why you do the things that you do. Or if not, I hope you just think back and start to dissect yourself, get to know yourself. The greatest favor you can do yourself is by knowing yourself, because then you can know how to treat yourself. You can know how to strategize your life appropriately without straining yourself. So yeah, pick one or two things out of what I've said. It's a personal story, but I think the meaning of it can spread as far as anyone will let it spread, and I would love for it to spread. Have a lovely Friday afternoon, everybody, and have a lovely weekend even. I'll catch up with you probably Monday. I'll do another live video on Facebook, or I might do a recorded one and share it on all my platforms. Please remember to like my YouTube channel. I'm trying to build it up. I started it without a clue how to work around it, so it kind of became a storage place for the videos that I used to do as therapy, to let it out. When I was alone, I used to record videos telling stories of what was going on, what I was battling with. The last 2 years I've done a lot of videos that if you follow from the start, you will start to understand where I've been, and you will start to appreciate where I am now, as I appreciate as well. Again, I love you. Happy weekend, happy times. Bye.